This week, the response of major military powers, particularly those in the Middle East such as Egypt, Jordan, and Turkey, to the highly tense situation between Israel and Iran, including Iran's recent attack on Israel, has garnered significant attention. Notably, Turkey's unexpected diplomatic involvement, as the largest military force in the area, and Jordan's direct military action in self-defense, signify a noteworthy shift in the region's power dynamics. The CIA's meeting with Turkish intelligence officials and Blinken's calls to Turkey, a key NATO ally and the dominant power in the region, underscore the seriousness of the situation. Additionally, Turkey's discussions with Iran regarding these developments have drawn focus. Turkey cautioned Iran against further escalating tensions with Israel, emphasizing the looming possibility of a regional conflict, which Turkey cannot afford to overlook. This warning from Turkey carries substantial geopolitical significance in light of Iran's recent significant drone and missile strike. Traditionally a dominant force with significant sway in the Middle East, Turkey's unexpected stance holds manifold implications for regional dynamics and global politics. What are the potential gains for Turkey in opposing Iran's escalation of tensions with Israel? How might Turkey's call for restraint impact its relationships with Iran and Israel? And what does this signify for its broader foreign policy objectives? Can Turkey's mediation efforts carve out a fresh diplomatic role in the region, or will it encounter backlash from both sides of the Iran-Israel conflict? We'll delve into these questions to thoroughly analyze Turkey's reactions and warnings to Iran amidst the unfolding developments in the region, examining their geopolitical and strategic ramifications. As the most formidable military force in the Middle East, Turkey, expressing apprehension regarding the prospect of a regional war following Iran's nocturnal airstrike on Israel, has taken a decisive stance by asserting that the reciprocal assaults between Iran and Israel vindicate its position. According to reports from local Turkish media, diplomatic sources revealed that Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan engaged in a telephone discussion with his Iranian counterpart Hussein Amir Abdullah. During this conversation, Minister Fidan conveyed Turkey's stance, expressing a reluctance to see further escalation of tensions in the region subsequent to Iran's drone and missile strike on Israel. Turkish diplomatic channels reported that Iranian Foreign Minister Hussein Abdullah assured Minister Fidan that the retaliatory actions against Israel had ceased, affirming that Iran would refrain from initiating further operations unless provoked. Additionally, Minister Fidan conversed with British Foreign Secretary David Cameron over the phone, stressing the imperative of averting any further escalation between Iran and Israel, given the global scrutiny of the unfolding events. Against the backdrop of the latest developments between Iran and Israel, discussions have commenced regarding mediation efforts to address the regional crisis. In a significant diplomatic maneuver, William Burns, director of the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency, reached out to Ibrahim Kalin, the head of the Turkish National Intelligence Organization, seeking mediation in light of Iran's assault on Israel. Following his discussions with his American counterpart, Kalin showcased Turkey's proactive engagement in regional diplomacy amidst escalating tensions. It's worth noting that the Turkish Foreign Ministry had communicated with both Washington and Tehran prior to the attack, acting as an intermediary to ensure proportional responses. A diplomatic source from Turkey indicated that Iran's retaliation was prompted by Israel's attack on its embassy in Damascus and would not extend beyond that. Turkey's admonition to Iran mirrors its self-perception and aspiration as a stabilizing force in the region. By advocating for restraint, Turkey is indicating its determination to prevent further regional instability that could potentially spiral out of control and embroil neighboring nations, including Turkey itself, in broader conflicts. Turkey's action can be interpreted as an effort to strike a balance in its relationships with Western nations and regional actors, particularly those with historically intricate ties to Israel. This move suggests a strategic alignment with Western calls for de-escalation, potentially aimed at mending and fortifying its alliances within NATO amid ongoing tensions with Western counterparts on various fronts. By positioning itself as a potential mediator, Turkey is also asserting its role as a significant player capable of influencing the dynamics between Iran and Israel. Such a role could enhance Turkey's diplomatic influence with both nations and other global powers, underscoring its capacity and readiness to mediate high-stakes conflicts in its vicinity. Conversely, there are numerous assertions suggesting that allies of both Iran and Israel were aware of the developments between the two nations 72 hours prior. Iran asserts that it notified its neighbors in Lebanon, Iraq, Yemen, as well as Turkey, about its intended attack on Israel over the weekend, while also claiming to have informed and cautioned the US and the UK. On Sunday, Iranian Foreign Minister Hussein Amir Abdollahian stated that Iran had provided 72 hours' notice to neighboring countries and the United States, an ally of Israel, indicating its intention to launch the attack. Even as missiles and drones were deployed, Iran declared the commencement of the attack under Article 51 of the United Nations Charter, citing the right of self-defense, and asserted that it would not pursue further aggression. The majority of the missiles and drones, primarily launched by Iran with some from its proxies in the Middle East, were neutralized by allies, including the United States, UK, and France. The remaining projectiles were intercepted in mid-air by Israel's Iron Dome air defense system. Additionally, observations revealed that life in Israel appeared largely unaffected after the attack, indicating minimal disruption despite the interception of Iranian missiles and drones. The American administration urged Israel to refrain from retaliating against Iran, stressing that the attack had been intercepted without any consequences. This cautionary approach stems from concerns that an Israeli response to Iran could escalate tensions in an already volatile region. In a statement from the White House, President Joe Biden recently convened with G7 leaders to address Iran's assault on Israel. The G7 leaders strongly condemned Iran's direct and unprecedented aggression against Israel, pledging to collaborate in stabilizing the Middle East. Italy, as the G7 chair, underscored Iran's actions as further destabilizing the region and potentially inciting uncontrollable regional tensions, emphasizing the necessity of prevention. The G7 leaders also cautioned against further escalation in the broader area and advocated for a ceasefire in Israel's conflict with Hamas, as well as the release of 129 hostages held by terrorist groups in Gaza since October 7th. Simultaneously, the leaders conveyed their unwavering solidarity and backing for Israel and its populace, reiterating their dedication to the region's security. They committed to ongoing efforts aimed at stabilizing the situation and preventing further escalation, calling upon Iran and its proxies to halt their attacks. The group asserted its readiness to take immediate and future actions to counter any destabilizing endeavors. In other developments, the UN Security Council initiated an emergency session regarding the Iranian assault on Israel, prompted by Israel's request for condemnation of the attack and designation of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist organization. While the US, UK, and France advocated for a response to the attack, Russia and China questioned the absence of reaction to the attack on the Iranian embassy. Russia's permanent representative to the UN highlighted the disparity, emphasizing that a similar attack on a Western diplomatic mission would prompt immediate discussions of retaliation. The Security Council convened urgently at Israel's request, underscoring tensions among its 5 permanent members, with the US, UK, and France condemning Iran's actions and supporting Israel. Representatives from Russia and China raised concerns about the absence of a reaction to Israel's strike on the Iranian mission in Damascus. U.S. Deputy Permanent Representative to the UN, Robert Wood, commenced his address by condemning Iran and advocated for action from the UN Security Council against Iran. He emphasized that Iran's reckless actions not only jeopardize the safety of Israel, but also pose a threat to other UN member states in the region, such as Jordan and Iraq. Wood asserted that the Security Council has a responsibility to ensure that Iran's actions are met with a response. He argued that Iran endangers international security by utilizing its proxies in the region, such as Hezbollah and Hamas, and stressed the importance of closely monitoring Iran's actions and holding them accountable before the UNSC. On the contrary, Russia's permanent representative to the UN, Vasily Nebenzia, brought up the issue of the Israeli targeting of the Iranian diplomatic mission in Damascus the previous week. Nebenzia reminded that the targeting of any country's diplomatic mission constitutes a clear violation of relevant international agreements. However, when this matter was raised at the UN, the resolution condemning the act was blocked by the US, UK, and France. Nebenzia highlighted that according to international law, an attack on a diplomatic mission constitutes an act of war. He emphasized that if a Western diplomatic mission were targeted, retaliation would be immediately discussed. Nebenzia argued that the UNSC was employing double standards in its treatment of Iran and Israel, contending that Iran was acting in self-defense. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres warned of the real threat of a devastating large-scale conflict looming over the region, urging for calm, de-escalation, and maximum restraint. He concluded by stressing the importance of stepping back from the brink of conflict. In summary, Turkey's unexpected diplomatic intervention following Iran's attack on Israel highlights its strategic objective to uphold regional stability and potentially reclaim its role as a significant mediator in Middle East politics. The result of this initiative may redefine Turkey's position in regional geopolitics, possibly elevating its standing on the global platform. However, it also presents challenges in maintaining a balance in relations with neighboring countries and major powers, particularly as the dynamics between Iran and Israel undergo changes. The ramifications of Turkey's actions will become apparent as events progress. Thank you for watching.